October for me is not black and gold. It's pink and purple. Greetings and salutations. This is your girl, Outspoken Diva, and it's October. And if you know me, you know in October we talk about the awareness of breast cancer and domestic violence. The pink and the purple and the pink. Um, this year, let's have some discussions about things that are not as talked about as much. When we talk about breast cancer, let's talk about men uh, contracting, being diagnosed, dying of breast cancer. As of right now, moments before push play on this, started recording, according to the stats of 2024, 310,000 women plus women uh, are new cases of breast cancer, and 2,790 men are the new cases of breast cancer. And we don't talk about that. What drew my attention was recently in the news this year, Richard Roundtree. Well, not this year. I think last year. Since October of last year, 2023 is 2024 now. Richard Roundtree passed, and the diagnosis was prostate cancer. I was like, oh wow. And I remember in the 90s when he came out and in a major um, magazine publication. I want to say it was Essence, not Essence, Ebony. Um, he said that he had breast cancer, and everybody was like, and they swooped right past it. Like no one refuted what he said, but they swooped right past it. But there are a lot of men that that are diagnosed with breast cancer. Even when he passed, they said prostate cancer, and people were having to say, and he had also developed breast cancer first, and some of the news articles said, and it was like, oh wow, we talk about his accomplishments and stuff, but no one wants to talk about men getting breast cancer, and it's crazy, it's wild. So it also got me to thinking about my life this year. This year, came across a young lady that I had to auntie, for a moment. She was talking about how her and her boyfriend be play fighting, and I was like, "Ooh, y'all shouldn't play fight." And she looked at me. I'm like, "Cause one day, sweetie, and this, if you know me, this is something I talk about. I have talk about a lot. I don't play fight. I've never been in a domestic violence a relationship that resulted in domestic violence. But I was raised with male cousins, and the one thing I did not do was fight with them because one day play fighting will turn serious. It did turn serious one time, but not with me. With two of them. Yeah, I don't play fight, and especially male and female play fight, men and women, girls and boys. I don't promote that. And I told her that, and I was like, no. Fast forward a few weeks later, her and her boyfriend were having a heated argument, and that play fighting didn't stay there, and she was the aggressor. Now, my thing is, sweetheart, learn how to argue, learn how to use your words. As I tell my nephew, step your argument up, you know. But I would tell her that too. Step your argument up because hands, fists, legs, cruel words, violence, weapons, all that kind of stuff. It's not. It's not called for. You know. And now there are legalities that had to be done because she was the aggressor. And just weeks before, I was like, we don't play fight because it does not stay as playing. It becomes serious one day. Then I had to think about also had a conversation with a guy who his someone he knows was in a relationship that is, domestic violence is happening. And they were like, and they still with them. And I was like, well, you just have to, you have to pray about it, pray them through it, wait for them, encourage them to leave when you can and all this kind of stuff. Even though, because people always want to ask, well, how come they stay? How come they. Do y'all know sometimes it is much more dangerous for them to leave than it is for them to stay sometimes? It's much more dangerous. When they go to leave, yeah. And not too long ago, a loved one of mine buried a friend of theirs because of that very thing. Um, their friend is unalive because they were in process of leaving their spouse, and the spouse unalived them. It's hard. It's hard sometimes. We have all these conversations in October. We're gonna focus a lot on people are gonna focus a lot. You're gonna hear a lot about the pink ribbon. And don't say me. I mean, I'm not saying that you're not supposed to discuss and be aware of breast cancer, but it's only shaped one way. Then the last week, somebody, I know the TV station I watch, they'll throw in some a little purple little DV, little domestic violence talk, and it's only gonna go one way. But we're not having full conversations about this, and it's sad. It seemed like sometimes I get on here, or back when I had the blog, I had to like become creative on talking about this because it just seems like you're banging on a glass, banging on a drum. That's what it is, banging on a drum, making noise. But you gotta keep banging the drum to make the noise for people to understand and make sense before it's too late. Now, the young woman who ended up, being the aggressor in this in an argument with a young man, it did not escalate into no one becoming unalive. It ended up, mm, light punishment, of some of the sort, but it didn't have to get to that. This is why I have problems with conversations, play fighting. Uh, I heard, people were talking about on a podcast. Little boys pulling somebody's hair or pushing the girl. Oh, he like you. No, he don't. Don't we? And when he's on, he might like her, but we should even encourage that. They hit you, they pull your hair because they like you. No, mm-mm, mm-mm. That is not. That's not cute. And we need to stop. We need to start it while they're young. Stop encouraging this kind of behavior while they're young. Any testing that men need to do for um, breast cancer, things they need to look for. We need to start that while they're young. Just like we tell our young girls to do checks, women should do, no, young men should do checks. We need to encourage couples, just like I've seen not documentaries, what's those anthology movies, and they would say, my the significant other would feel something while they're being intimate, oh, that feels weird, and then they end up in encourage that kind of stuff. You say you love someone, encourage that kind of stuff. I'd rather you encourage that as opposed to telling someone, oh, they like, they hit you because they like you when they're little. I'd rather, y'all want to give couples counseling, say something like that, okay? These are things we need to talk about, okay? I know I'm probably going every which way, and this is not, but we are off my dome. The only thing I have wrote down is this. Oh yeah, domestic violence. 29% in women, 10% in men. That's a lot. Those numbers are not zero, are they? Both of those are in double digits. Again, I'm off the top of my dome. Yeah, we got to change the conversation. We got to talk a different way. If not, everybody's going to be hitting everybody, and everybody's going to be sick. And all the mainstream media is just going to focus is right here until we change the conversation. Change the conversation. Okay? Down below, let me know how you would change the conversation in the ways that we are, how breast cancer and domestic violence is talked about. Okay? Um, yeah, because I'm hopeful. I'm not hopeless. I'm hopeful. But yeah, I want to have a different. Next year, I want to talk about something different about the pink and the purple. Okay? All right. And then when I say something different, I want to have a brighter conversation. Not, I found out that someone that I've met has been unalived. Whether it's from DV or breast cancer. Okay? I don't want to have, you know, y'all, this is what happened to me this year. Oh gosh, no. I don't want to sound like that every year. I want to have hopeful conversations. Okay? And the only way we can have, one of the ways, not the only way, the one of the ways we can start having hopeful conversations, if we start talking to our young people. Okay? All right. It's October. Let's be aware of the pink and the purple, and the purple and the pink. And other than that, talking to you in adult terms.